All yours, sir.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We're here for the County Commissioner meeting for Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. This is both an in-person meeting and remote by Zoom. And
Thank you.
let's see. Pursuant to the executive order on remote participation on Thursday, March 12th, 2020, Governor Baker issued an order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Master General Law, Chapter 30, capital A, Section 20. That order was effective immediately until it was rescinded or the state of emergency is terminated. On February 12th, 2022, by the action of the legislature, the order was extended until July 15th, 2022. So we still have a little bit more time for Zoom.
Good.
Votes may be taken on any of the content listed in the agenda. So call to order. Commissioner Stady,
Present.
Commissioner Collins present. Commissioner Shea, our chairman, is unavailable today, and he's asked me to step in to be acting chair for today. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing this. Okay, we've done the roll call. Item number 3 is minutes of the joint session meeting of April 27th, 2022 for approval.
All right, I'll move acceptance of the meeting minutes of April 27th.
Terrific. I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Item 4, minutes of the open session meeting of May 4th, 2022 for approval.
Right, I will move acceptance of the meeting minutes of May 4th.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Item 5, public comments. John, do we have any public comments today?
I believe one of the county trustees from the agricultural school may have some remarks relative to an upcoming public hearing.
Terrific. Matt, you want to come out?
Sure. Do you want me to stand or?
No, sit down.
Okay,
You want to do pledge of allegiance?
Oh,
we can do that.
we do the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's right.
Let's do that. Sorry.
That's right.
Matt, as long as you
Yeah,
stand,
keep
why don't you
all
lead us in the
tradition.
Pledge of Allegiance?
There you go.
All right.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John, thank you for catching that. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. Rookie, Jim.
All right, so I just had a few questions about this upcoming meeting on Monday. So it was moved to May 16th. I do know that that's the same day as Dedham Town Meeting. So are the people in town meeting in Dedham going to have an opportunity to offer their opinion as far as, the solar project goes? 'Cause
How many
many of
questions
them aren't going to be able, I have 3 questions. Many of them aren't going to be able to make it to the meeting. I also wanted to know, I spoke with Bill Buckley. He said there's not going to be a Zoom option. I think we are required to have a link until that date in July that you just read.
We're not required to have a Zoom option. That's an option.
Okay.
But with regard to the first one, John, I think people can write in with their comments in advance. We could read those into the record, or we could take them into the record too,
Okay.
if they can't make it. But John, why don't you?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Written comments or concerns will be accepted.
So people at Dedham Town Meeting could send in their,
Yeah, they can
Okay.
send it in, and we can read it into the minutes, or we can just take notice of it and put it onto the final minutes to be entered in. And it's tricky too, because all the different towns have different town meeting dates. And
right?
if we were trying to coordinate that with 28 cities and towns, that'd be
Yeah.
it would probably be impossible.
With the county town hearing, you'd want to be able to have all the 28 cities and towns
Impossible.
be represented.
It's impossible.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, Canton had town meeting Monday. Stoughton has town meeting Wednesday. Okay, Sharon's going to have their town meeting. You can't pick your day, Matt. No matter what day you pick, you're going to have a conflict with us or another board or another town.
Sure.
No one. It was not our intent to have her down to Dedham. It was never our intent. In fact, what we did, we planned this a month in advance. The reason we did that was to give everyone notice that we're having a hearing, so that no one can come back and say we didn't know about it. So when you come back and say, well, Dedham can't attend, well, if we have it last week, Canton couldn't have gone, or another town couldn't have gone. We do the best we can.
Sure.
All right. And if those who want to attend, they can come. If they can't, they can send a written comment to our director.
Sure.
That's all. But we can't start changing dates. If we change the dates, then we never have a hearing. We never
Yeah,
get it done.
understood.
Then you run to Memorial Day weekend, then you get into June, then it's summer. Oh, can't do it in the summertime. People go away to the Cape. Now, what do you want to do in May and September? And then you have people going to school. No matter what you pick in this business, someone has a conflict.
Sure.
So you do the best you can.
Yeah, I mean, the original date, May 2nd, worked out
So,
great for.
Bringing it to our
most people.
attention here, Dedham, if they have an interest, I'm sure they can write letters, send emails, and give us their notice on it.
Okay,
Zoom is an option. It's not required. The problem we've had in trying to have a Zoom or a hybrid at that facility is it just for some reason, I don't understand that part of it. Doesn't seem to work that well. But I don't know if there's going to be a tape available for people to watch or something. I'm not really sure
We,
how that works.
we were asked, Mr. Sheehan was instrumental in moving the meeting to the larger room at the agricultural school. I believe it's referred to as the AKC room. So
yes,
Right.
yep,
there aren't sufficient Zoom resources there, from what I
Right.
understand, that produce a quality experience for Zoom participants.
Right.
I understand there was one meeting held a couple of years ago, and it was not very well
No,
received.
okay.
The room you'll be in this evening was the first room, and there have been much better success for Zoom. In fact, tonight's meeting will be Zoom from the agricultural school, from whatever that room's called.
the administration.
Yeah, but it was deemed to be too small for the expected crowd. So
Okay.
that's one of the reasons we went.
Yeah,
to
that
the
is too
AKC.
bad.
Yeah, I mean, I had just
That's-
suggested that room under the guise that I was told that Zoom would be possible in that room as
Mm.
well. So if we could look into that, that would be great. And then lastly, I made a public records request a while ago, and it came back to me completely redacted. Can I get a copy that's not redacted for taxpayer-funded lawsuits?
We'd ask you to put your request in writing, and we'll evaluate it with council on what can be released and not released.
Okay,
We're following the public records law there, so
sure.
you'll have to send back a written request, making it known that there's information that appears not to be compliant.
All right,
We'll evaluate it.
will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for coming
Okay,
in.
Matt, thanks. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment, John?
No, sir.
Okay, appointments. Any appointments today?
No, sir.
Terrific. On to item 7, old business. Any old business?
No, sir.
All right, personnel matters for consideration. I
One,
don't know if you caught that one, Dick.
registry of deeds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it right here. Well,
Okay.
same thing, I think.
Yeah, it's,
But, yep, I would move the notice of resignation of Julie Keller of Needham, Mass. as temporary head clerk for the salary stated effective April 29th, 22.
second. All those in favor?
Yes,
Yes. Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, item 9, payroll and expense warrants for approval.
all right, Mr. Chairman, for several to read. Move acceptance of 22-45 Norfolk County payroll in the amount of $142,266.79. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous.
Second, the expense of Norfolk County of 050222. I move the amount of $106,576.88. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Several opera awards, which we'll talk about later, but you have to have them on the warrant. So 22-45 Opera Town of Milton in the amount of $376,916. So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Next, Town of Norwood, APA, in the amount of 127,000. I think there's a typo on here. Better check it.
Yeah.
It's $127,973.75.
That's correct. That's
Yeah, no, there's an extra 3. So you got to just check that. So moved. That's corrected.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye, we're giving
Aye,
it 1 million
unanimous.
now. APA, I'm kidding. Town of Dedham, the amount of $26,787. So moved.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
And
unanimous.
the last one, which is wonderful news again for all these towns, Opera Town of Milton, the amount of $257,638. So moved.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Total
Aye,
opera
unanimous.
warrant, Mr. Chairman, would be, for this particular session of the county commissioners, the award would be $434,398.75. That's just a total.
Yes, that's all. We don't have to make a motion. Good job.
All right.
Okay,
We'll
so
talk about that later too, I guess, right?
so
Yes,
now,
sir.
so now we're into item 10, opera warrants for approval. We've taken care of that, but
We
do
did.
we have to go, let's see, ARPA's further down, is that it?
It is.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, all right, sorry. Item 11, bid openings.
can't do it.
You can't do it because it's not 11:30. Excuse me, 1:30. Contract awards done. 13, county COVID-19 response update.
Mhm.
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, a brief update. As you know, the county commission has ordered additional test kits. They arrived last week. We're preparing them for disbursement today. We'll use the same method of count Each employee will receive one kit that has 2 tests within one package. The kits will be delivered to the departments in the next day or so, the first going out today. These kits are helpful for early detection for any symptoms. We're directing employees how to use the kits and how to quarantine if any positives come through, following the CDC guidelines that are online right now. In addition to the notice and the kits, employees will be given a
That
brief.
thing's on a reel, so the further I move or closer I bring that optical scope,
Be
it's gonna
giving
raise up and down.
one-page copy of what these directions are for their quick reference. In addition to the disbursement of kits, we had a request from one of the commissioners to examine the possibility of revisiting a mask wearing policy. I don't know if you want to bring that up at this time, Commissioner Stady, but we did examine the status of what other communities and units of government are doing regarding masks. It's not recommended at the state level with CDC at this time. However, I believe your inquiry was well timed because, as you know, Norfolk County last week joined, unfortunately, virtually every county except one, I believe, in Massachusetts, that is currently in the red. Caseloads are rising, especially in certain age groups. When we were researching this, Commissioner Stady, you can notice that the largest group of individuals now experiencing positive symptoms range in the 20 to 29-year-old range. So the socializing pieces obviously have an effect on the spread of COVID.
Right, it was indicated for the meeting, 2 of my family members, they're not quite in that age range, but they're obviously, in say a younger group of the population, have contracted or been exposed to COVID, and they're dealing with it. If the vaccine, thankfully, is doing its job, and it seems to be working with most people in terms of mitigating the cases. But even if you just look at the statistics, it's on the rise, which is natural because people are returning to what, quote, used to be normal activities. I'm just saying it's a red flag. We should look at it and put it on there and watch what happens. Work with our local board of health, work with the state. And if we have to resort to the mask again policy, so be it. The other question, though, it segues into what Trustee Sheehan had asked about, and it's not a bad idea to talk about it now. I look way ahead. That's my nature. May is almost done in my eyes. I'm looking at the summer. And the remote option might be not enacted again. It may not be a bad idea in light of the COVID cases that are on the rise to petition our local legislators, or at least reach out to someone and see if Governor Baker, who we just saw, might be inclined to extend that to the end of the year. I'd heard talking to one legislator at town meeting that they're probably going to do that, but a couple of words from us wouldn't hurt. That it's a very viable option, does help. And in light again of the rise of COVID, it might not be a bad thing to consider. So I'd like to just suggest that we follow up.
Great feedback, Commissioner Stady. If I could say one more thing that was noticed is when we hear about caseloads now, those are reportable cases that come through the local board of health and the Maven system. Many folks obviously are using home test kits like the ones we're distributing to self-diagnose and take care of themselves. When folks have those kits and those self-acts done, they're not reporting the cases. So there's certainly a sense that the numbers we see could be very well underrepresented.
I agree.
About the seriousness of where we find ourselves.
I agree. I agree what you're saying there. I guess there's another way that they can evaluate it by looking at the wastewater and things like that.
Yeah.
But I agree totally that people are probably not doing maybe in those cases what they should be doing as well, a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're in an area where it's been flagged, who knows what the reality might be. So again, it's just a word of caution. Certainly it bears watching. That's all, for all of us. Especially if we've got people with compromised immune system, things like that. So I just a word to the wise. You put it on the radar to keep, take a look at it.
In my director's report, I'll give you a brief update, a brief recommendation on some upcoming policy changes relative to COVID, but I'll wait till that point of the agenda.
Okay, terrific.
So that's all I got.
Okay, the next item was item 14, the civic rate request for tournaments at the President's Golf Course. I don't know if you want to make a motion for those, Dick. There are 3 of them.
Give me 1 second. What was it? Sorry. This is,
Item 14.
are they,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a civic rate.
are they in the packet? I saw a letter from somebody. But- yeah, I thought I saw something. So this is from the first one, the Quincy Firefighter Association. And they run an annual, 6th annual John T. Austin Memorial Golf Tournament. It's going to be held Monday, June 21st at President's. It is to benefit scholarships that they give out in memory of Mr. Austin, who died responding to a call back in 2013. And so they're requesting the charity rate for the use of the course on that day.
Yes.
All right, so I'd make that motion.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous.
Okay. The second request, I believe, is from the Quincy Youth Hockey and Quincy Youth. Is it Quincy Youth Hockey?
Yes.
Okay. So Quincy Youth Hockey is looking to have an annual tournament. This is one they do again to benefit the community and their organization. The outing is scheduled for Wednesday, June 15. They have done this in the past. This seems like a great organization, and they're requesting charity rate.
Okay, I'll second the motion. All in favor?
All right.
Aye, it's unanimous.
All right. And the third, I think it was a Dedham one, I believe. Yep. The Deidre Spada Benefit Fund is holding a golf tournament at President's Course in conjunction with the Dedham Firefighters Association, Local 1735. And this organization is having their golf outing on June 13th. This will be, again, a very worthwhile cause. They've had it in the past, and this will benefit definitely this individual. So let's maybe make that motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Okay.
Okay.
And that, I think, concludes that.
Now, under 15, report on American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner Stady. Just, and Commissioner Collins, very briefly, this afternoon, you've approved several additional ARPA awards. The total amount of awards to date, the community, including the ones approved this afternoon, is 27 awards to multiple communities. You have now reached over $12.1 million in distribution, which is approximately just under 9% of our total award. We continue to have a lot of activity in the portal. I expect you'll see at least one, possibly two very large awards coming in next week. I wanted to call attention to the fact that today you've approved one award to the town of Rentham, which is that's their first award. But there are several other communities that have already been active with ARPA, including Dedham and Milton. I understand this afternoon, Commissioner Collins, Commissioner Stady, we have a couple of folks on your Zoom who are from those respective communities, and I'll yield if you wish to ask for their feedback, but they both received ARPA awards today. Milton received two separate awards, one totaling over $376,000, the second one $257,000. The town of Dedham has been active. I've spoken to John Annette a couple of times. It's been very well managed. They had a couple of awards today totaling $26,700. I'll be happy to yield if you'd like
Sure.
their feedback and
Yeah.
get into
That'd be
what each award was for if you'd like.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
Yeah. Terrific.
Mr. James Jett from Milton, I believe, is the brand new superintendent of schools. Mr. Jett, if you have any comments about the recent award from the county commissioners for the school nurse in Milton, I guess would be willing to hear from you.
Welcome.
Welcome, Superintendent.
Welcome, and thank you very much for this opportunity. On behalf of the Milton Public Schools, I just want to thank all those involved in approving this. As you can imagine, over the course of the last 26 months, the importance of the nurse has been elevated, and we've had a critical shortage in our district, supporting students, particularly during the pandemic, dealing with the pandemic only, but as you can imagine, there's so many other screenings and needs that take place in the school sector beyond COVID and prior to COVID. So I appreciate the consideration and the approval of this award, and I know I speak on behalf of our school committee, our faculty and the staff, and especially our nursing department did much for this much needed support. So thank you guys very much.
You're welcome. I read your application with interest, being a former educator for many years, but I know that the situation for all of our schools for the past couple of years with COVID has just been a great challenge. So this will be an assistant to the present nurse. You're hiring a full-time person to help out with the case management and to assist the students for the balance of this year and all of next year. Is that the way I read that?
Yes.
That's fantastic. That's great. That's great.
Thank
Really
you very much. We're looking
Yeah,
forward
great.
to it.
Terrific. And again, it's one of those areas that can be funded appropriately. So good to see. That's great. Great use of the money.
Mr. Jett, it's terrific to see you on the Zoom. I'm a Milton resident. Two of my kids are at your school right now at the high school. So you're doing a terrific job. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much. So not only indirectly, but directly impacted by it. And I just heard the conversation, as you guys alluded to, the cases are going up. We're facing that within our district. We just reported to the state 12 staff and 73 students that are positive from last Thursday till today. That is something I will be reporting out at the school committee meeting this evening. And we're just going to remind people to continue to engage in the mitigating strategies that we have employed throughout the year. Hand washing, although our district is mask optional, we're going to encourage people to start thinking about masks for their comfort level, especially indoors. But we keep our rooftop units open for increasing the air exchanges, fresh air exchanges, windows open, and we have air purifiers in every single classroom and office, and encouraging people to keep those on during the school day. So it's a tough situation. Unfortunately, this is the times that we're in. We got to learn to manage around it, and we're looking forward to continue to push forward and provide a top-notch education for our students. So thank you, and I hope your kids are meeting with success in the Milton Public Schools.
They're doing great. So thank you for everything. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Terrific. Great to see you, meet you, and call us again if we can be of any help, obviously. All right? Take care.
Goodbye, Mr. Judd. Okay, you want to pass it over to Denham?
If John Arnett has any comments, they had 2 awards, relatively small in value, but they're direct COVID expense for reimbursements for supplies and COVID kits.
What was the amount of debt, John?
Just under $27,000.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Arnett. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you guys very much for having me.
Hi, John. How are you? Good to see
Doing
you
well.
again.
Nice to see you again, sir. So these are really relatively small. These are a lot of these are just the housekeeping items that have sort of trickulated through the year. So there's one more that's direct response to COVID that's sitting in the hopper right now. After this, you'll be seeing a little bit larger requests coming from Dedham, but these are again a little bit of the more housekeeping related items that are directly related to COVID.
Are you seeing, John, a little tick in cases going up yourself? Are you seeing that in Dedham?
Yes, we've definitely seen a jump in cases. I know that they're seeing the jump in cases also in the schools. This right here for me is just allergies. I'm allergic to the air, but yes, Dedham is seeing an uptick as well.
Just a quick question. I serve as a moderator in Canton. We just had our town meeting. You have yours coming up, I understand. Is it going to be indoors still? You're having it going outdoors?
Yes, we still have it indoors. It's still scheduled for the high school, and that will be this upcoming Monday. We had we lovingly consider to be our mini town meeting. So we held it successfully at the middle school.
Right.
We will be using for the first time electronic voting this year, which will be very exciting.
Oh, I'll be curious to learn about that. That's great. Well, good luck. Congratulations. We'll come back for more money. Huh?
Oh, we will. We will.
John's very active.
Yeah, right. All right, John. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, John. Thank you for
Give our
stopping in.
best to the board too.
Will
Please.
do.
All right.
Okay.
So Dedham got
Commissioners-
some money. What was Milton's award? I'm sorry. What was it for Milton?
The total amount, well, they had 2 separate ones, one for $376,916,
Yeah.
and the second one was $257,638.
Wow.
Those are bundled. They have multiple contracts within those
So
two.
it's about almost $600,000.
Correct.
Okay.
The other communities that we did not hear from, who
Yeah.
don't appear to be represented today, include Norwood. Their first entry into the ARPA portal, you approved over $15,000 for employee retention.
Okay.
The town general manager has informed us that he had 2 staff that were prepared to depart, given the stress of the job. And under ARPA's purpose, under the final rule, providing them with a retention bonus is an eligible expense, and both were awarded a certain amount of money towards their salaries as a result of that retention need. In
Okay.
addition, to your point earlier, Commissioner, stating about the need for mental health support, Norwood has provided a request for a 1-year mental health support contract totaling over $112,000.
Wow.
And then finally, the other award, first time into the portal for Rentham, was a $40,000 item. It is a revenue replacement category. The few we've seen so far, they're looking for an engineering service study for a potential space to use as a public gathering location for recreation and recognition of their upcoming 350th anniversary.
How much money was that?
$40,000.
20,000. Now, just a quick update too, as you noted today, Town of Stoughton which John had visited about a few weeks ago, as you know, Peter. They've got their grant is in the pipeline, and we'll probably be acting on that very soon, which is great. And as I mentioned, Canton just concluded the town meeting, and the finance director told me in an email that you were going to see an application very soon from them. I think they wanted to go in the direction of revenue replacement, but they understand that their ruling is probably going to keep us away from granting what they want. Areas, which is fine. So we'll be seeing, I think we're going to see more and more applications coming in as town meetings wrap up, so it's interesting. It's good. It's good. Can we get Nancy in now? It's almost 1:30.
Let's do the report of the county director because it's still a few minutes before 1:30.
Okay.
Very well. So back to my point, we are delivering kits today and tomorrow to staff within Norfolk County. I just checked with John Wallace. Schools are all set. They have requisite supplies in hand. Next week, commissioners, you will be asked to sign off on an updated COVID policy. It's been brought to our attention. The website currently contains the policy that was put out there in January of 2020 or 2021. It reflected a time and a place when a lot of the guidelines were trying to catch up with what to do in the event you contracted COVID. A lot has changed, and you'll see a streamlined policy come before you for approval next week. Just to let you know, as you know, last week we received the retirement notice from Sheila Carroll. We posted internally for her vacancy, and we began interviews this week. We conducted one interview Monday. The posting closes Friday. Internal candidates only this time.
Okay.
What else should let you know this afternoon, rather, that
That's John McGowan's assistant, right?
correct.
Right. Okay.
The FY23 budget, which was submitted or distributed to the advisory board, et cetera, has been placed in what's called a flipbook style. It's very easily read. Mr. Buckley found a software program relatively inexpensive that converts that Excel document that we're all accustomed to seeing. So if you happen to click on, I think it's a Hayline website link. I don't know if you can pull it up, Bill. You'll see the budget present in a very readable format, like a book would, and you can flip through it very easily and refer to it. It's just an enhanced
That's great.
viewing experience.
Will you download the software for that?
Bill did already.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's all set.
Okay, great.
We're
In
working.
fairness, we should point out that we did steal it wholeheartedly from Foxborough.
No, I was
No
funny.
good idea.
No, I'm trying to get away from Excel. I think that's great.
Well, we'll still
Right.
need it as a platform to create
Yeah.
and compute, but for visual purposes, it looks nice.
Okay.
Build it nice.
See, because I haven't updated it Windows 11. I mean, I told you that last week.
Talked about
That's the truth. I go Windows 10, and when I use my Excel, it takes forever. I don't know why. So I try to shun those documents, but I do read them, as you know.
Got it.
All right.
We are updating a scope right now for appraisal services. Scott and I have had a conversation for appraisal services relative to the Quincy District Court. More on that as soon as that is finalized. I'll be sending out the FY21 audit checklist to the eligible department heads. One of the delays associated with this was that our auditor needed to create what's called a Dropbox email address for each of the department heads. They only had a couple as a result of last year, so we're updating that. I've reached out to our department facility maintenance department head, John McGowan, to alert him that the Stoughton District Court rooftop unit project is our top priority. I've given some instructions for him to find out from our vendor Ambient when their go date is ready. As you may know from my last update, they were galvanizing the steel associated with the construction. They should be ready very shortly so that I can engage with the trial courts on an appropriate straight time schedule to achieve that job's completion. Let's see. We held a quad county meeting yesterday with Bristol, Barnstable, and Plymouth County to discuss our shared experiences with ARPA grants. Treasurer O'Brien, back from the wedding of his daughter down the Cape, was happy to join us, and it's a great 1 hour. It's become a peer platform where we all exchange our thoughts and ideas. He will not be surprised to know that they are all anxious to hear about Norfolk County as we continue to lead the pack on the variety of applications, the challenges that we're encountering, as well as the use of the portal. We expect to be seeing some improvements in the portal performance. They just changed, for example, what's called the timeout on the flow chart. It used to be you put an application in, and after 30 days, it would time out and go back to draft. They've now extended that to 90 days. So we're seeing some of that, and also waiting for a beta version of their dashboard so that I can begin producing better data than I'm currently tracking on a simple spreadsheet for where our ARPA dollars are going by purpose. So more of that will be following. And then lastly, happy to report, Mr. Buckley reached out to Ben Thomas from Senator Markey's office. We are alerted that the senator's office has submitted a follow-up letter to the Treasury on our appeal for revenue loss to find out what the Treasury can and will be doing with regard to the information they received from us and from our respective communities that spoke with the Treasury back, I believe, in early April. So we're following through on that to see if we can get an update. That is all I have.
Okay, can we get Nancy in? Can we do this? Hi, Nancy, I
quickly.
can't see behind, the chair's so tall. I'm sorry, Bill, do you have something to say?
Just real quickly, I did sign in to our document here. So this is the flip book we were speaking of. And it flips and makes a flipping sound, and you can zoom in and out, but it looks like an actual book.
Good book. Okay.
Not with it there, but
Oh, I like that.
right, isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's great. Excellent.
Okay, doke.
Thank you.
You stole that from Foxborough? You like that?
We did.
Nice. Thank you, Foxborough.
Thank you.
All right, Nancy, contract awards. Oh, sorry.
Bid.
Bid opening, 130, roof repair administration building, Norfolk County Agricultural High School.
Yes, we have just one bid. It went out to several. From Corolla Contracting out of Winthrop, Mass. They have bid $120,670. They are actually, we just award our on-call for the next 3 years.
Mm.
But I'll send this over to John, I'll check references
Okay,
and go from there.
all right, terrific, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need formal action on that, just to say
No,
it's closed or?
No, it's just held, well, no, it's just held under advisement. It's closed today. It's
Yes.
done, yeah, so
Okay,
it's under
so
advisement.
noted for the record and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
And she'll give us some advice as to whether she would recommend a rebid or not, so,
thank you, Nancy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
okay. I think we're into 17, John,
Yeah.
emergency items. Topics that the chair did not reasonably anticipate would be discussed. We don't have any emergency items, correct?
We do not.
I got a couple, if you don't mind.
Lay it on,
But
me. What do you got?
I will not go long. First of all, I think we get kudos to our maintenance staff for preparing the Quincy Court. There was a very nice ceremony held with Governor Baker, Lieutenant Polito, and other important officials were there. And listened to his plan for the new Justice Center at the Quincy Court. And I got a lot of compliments for on the appearance of the court and the grounds and everything else. Did a great job. So thank you to John and his crew again for, making us look good and doing a great job with that court. It was a very interesting day, talking to different officials. Chairman Shea was there with us and other people. And basically, again, a compliment to us. I think it was Secretary Kendrigan. I got the right name?
Heffernan.
Heffernan, forgive me. Heffernan has said that he's had terrific dealings with our staff in terms of things he needs to do to get ready for the transition. And so he's very pleased, which again, is a nice compliment on how we're doing things. So that was a very nice day. John got there early. We got there early, which is unusual, Commissioner Stady, and we found a nice place to eat. We can't put a plug in for it, but
That
the
was very
food
good, actually.
The food was excellent.
I'll go back.
Oh, we'll go back there, definitely. Anyway, the other point I want to point out, though, something different, kind of interesting with the timing of the solar hearing. And I know there's a lot of interest in solar energy. We are, pushing ourselves in that direction. At least we've carved out in the Aggie school the use of solar power. So this, I think, kind of ties in, and it's something I'd like to I want to work on it in the next couple of years. Electric vehicle charging stations. My understanding in talking to a couple of people involved in it is that Congress will be distributing the guidelines on these charging stations to the state by Friday of this week. And I'm crazy about the date, it's Friday the 13th, but they are going to be unveiling their guidelines to the state. And then the states have to come up with a specific plan and how they're going to implement the funds they're going to get and return to the Congress, I think within a 3 or 5 month period. And that's kind of my fuzzy knowledge of it. And then once it goes back, the money will start to flow. What I'm understanding that we're looking at, a substantial amount of money will be available for the states to put these charging stations, like for example, on the 95 corridor, main roads. And it's that people, right now, one of the down times of an electric car is that you go to charge it up and it might take you an hour or two because there aren't enough charging stations. I saw at the town meeting in my own town, it wasn't required, but the bylaws now for site plan approval are now mentioning it would be helpful if you install charging stations as part of your development. And I think it won't be too long, they may even mandate that, but they're recommending it. So my suggestion is here, as county commissioner, I think it might be a good idea for us to talk to someone in this industry, have them come in and perhaps start using these in our own property. You know, if people are going to use more electric cars, it would be both a service and a possible source of revenue. It might be a small amount of revenue that we could get. So I'd like to see, for example, I'd like to suggest, you know, at some of the district parking lots of the court, perhaps at the Aggie School, we might be able to utilize the solar panels and utilize the energy from the solar panels to help charge the stations. And to me, that makes sense. I mean, we're advocating for solar. We want to put it in there. People want to see a tangible result. What are we getting out of it? What better way than charging up a station? And that's a great way of, you know, not a good use of the energy for what it's supposed to be for. Mike Dennehy, who was the town of Milton manager, has got a job in this area, and he's more than willing to come out and speak to us if you want at a future date, maybe in the early summer, once things kind of get rolling. So it might be a good thing for a look at.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
How long, I'm just curious, how long does it take to charge an electric car?
So what I was told, and I could be wrong, I don't have one myself, but I told it take up to an hour if you're a dead, if your battery's running down, you could take maybe an hour to charge it back up. It could be longer. But what he said, Mike, I had a quick conversation with Mike, but he says now that they're getting to the point, like say you want to go to the Cape, all right, or you want to go up to Maine, or you go skiing, you figure out where the charging stations are. You don't let your car get down to that, you know, bottom emptied out. You go like halfway. And that way you're only maybe taking 30 minutes or 15. But again, the more charging stations that start popping up, you'll see it's going to minimize the time. It won't take the light. Part of it is you have to wait in line if there's only one or two available. But I could be wrong. And a charge up is the problem at the moment. But having more stations will help. Put them in the court, put them in the parking lots. Let's put him everywhere, you know? Well, he'll come in. He can have a good plan for us. Not just him, but others like that. And again, there might be a source of revenue that we could drive as well. There might be a way to kind of get some money, you know, from that. But mostly we're doing a service, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Any other items?
No, I think that might be it.
Okay.
We do have the budget hearing tonight.
Budget hearing tonight. Finance committee's at 5.
Right.
Budget hearings at 6.
Right.
Which is just a reminder, I'll be with you a week from today, but a week from tomorrow, I'll be off until May 29th.
Right.
During my time out, I believe you have a hearing scheduled on the budget schedule for the FY23 capital plan. Assistant Director Buckley will read you in on that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
Looking ahead.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn that at 1:40.
Terrific. All right. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.